Welcome back to the weekly Bitcoin.com news show. My name is Corbin Fraser. Today is Friday, October 16th, 2020. We've got some Bitcoin news to share with you, including the U.S. government moves to regulate cryptocurrencies after the Attorney General publishes a new enforcement framework. $4.8 billion still missing from the Silk Road. There's a whale in the waters, and is Satoshi Nakamoto back in the game? Publicly traded companies move more cash reserves into Bitcoin. So let's go to the first story here, which is the U.S. government's moving to regulate cryptocurrencies after the Attorney General publishes an enforcement framework. So the U.S. government is imposing new regulations on cryptocurrencies and is already taking actions against people and companies who they deem to be bad actors in the cryptocurrency space. Attorney General William Barr announced that the cryptocurrency enforcement framework will establish guidelines for prosecuting people who are using digital currencies for illegal activities. This new framework has already been used in high-profile cases, with John McAfee arrested under this statute last week. The FBI insists that the framework is only for those who use cryptocurrency illegally, but many are voicing concerns over the government interfering with legitimate blockchain businesses. While some government representatives had positive things to say about cryptocurrency, the motion to regulate makes it clear that the Fed is feeling threatened by the financial freedom that Bitcoin offers. Federal investigators are looking through transactions associated with dark web markets such as the Silk Road, and they've made it clear that they're gunning for companies who anonymize cryptocurrency transactions. So, for average users, this probably doesn't mean too much. Unless you're providing cryptocurrency anonymization tools or operating in the dark web in some capacity, you should be okay. But it is one of those signs that governments are just keeping a much closer eye on what people and businesses are doing in cryptocurrency. I think it's a sad state that they're gunning for John McAfee, who is one of my favorites, and I hope he makes it out okay, and we'll hopefully see him tweeting again soon and making us all laugh. Next up, we've got $4.8 billion still missing from the Silk Road. So 7 years after the Silk Road was shut down, $4.8 billion worth of Bitcoin is still missing from the dark web marketplace. In one of the largest digital investigations in U.S. history, the FBI shut down the Silk Road in 2003 and arrested the site's creator, Ross Ulbricht. Ulbricht is currently serving a life sentence in federal prison without the possibility for parole for creating a website. So go check out freeross.org. It's kind of a pretty overhanded, it just seems a little bit harsh. I don't know. Double life sentence for a website creation. There's a lot of weird stuff in that story, so go check out the whole story at freeross.org. Back to this news. At the time of the arrest, the government seized close to 200,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road accounts, and there have been rumors of an even larger stash of coins ever since. Variety Jones, one of the original Silk Road moderators, told stories of a large stash of missing BTC, and this week's study validates his claims. As online sleuths and federal investigators work to locate the missing coins, it remains to be seen whether the digital treasure chest will ever be found. So it seems to me that there's one of two things. Either one, Ross wasn't the only creator of the Silk Road, which a lot of people have theorized, or two, some dirty cops or dirty feds, which already we know have been involved in this case. If you go read the entire case, there is a lot of really sketchy characters that end up entering the space, including some federal agents who allegedly took some crypto that didn't really belong to them and didn't really report it to their bosses. So it's very possible that this money's sitting in, who knows, it could be some Fed's account or some former Fed's account, or it could be the rest of the Silk Road creators, or who knows. But it is kind of interesting that there's some leftover money kicking around somewhere in the amount of 440,000 Bitcoin, which is pretty wild. Next up, there's a whale in the waters, and is Satoshi Nakamoto back in the game? On early Sunday morning, some of the oldest Bitcoins in existence were moved, echoing similar actions taken just before the Black Thursday market collapse earlier this year. These coins were mined in the Satoshi era of Bitcoin and have been inactive for the past 10 years. It's rare for these early era Bitcoins to move, and people online have speculated that the person or group behind the movement could be the elusive Satoshi Nakamoto. In addition to the $12 million of Bitcoin that moved this week, $251,000 of corresponding Bitcoin cash were also spent this week. So it's unclear where all of this money is going or who is spending it, but $114,000 worth of early-era Bitcoin were sent to the Free Software Foundation earlier this week. 2020 has seen the most movement of these early Bitcoin blocks to date, and but we'll have to wait to see if it really is Satoshi Nakamoto making these moves or just another early OG Bitcoiner. Go follow along news.bitcoin.com if you're interested in all of these kind of interesting Satoshi theories and who's moving bags of what. Go check that out. Next up, we've got publicly traded companies move more cash reserves into Bitcoin. Earlier this year, MicroStrategy became the first publicly traded company to move a significant amount of its cash reserves into Bitcoin. Since then, more companies have followed suit, using Bitcoin to hedge against inflation faced by fiat currencies. MicroStrategy still tops the list with $433 million worth of Bitcoin in its reserves, but companies like Jack Dorsey's Square, Inc., as well as Galaxy Digital Holdings and Voyager Digital Limited have all made significant moves into Bitcoin in recent weeks. With increased uncertainty over the US dollar, more companies and individuals continue to view Bitcoin as a promising store of value. I think this is a pretty clear sign that a lot more companies are going to be watching these things. If you watched last week's episode, we talked about how much US dollar was created in 2020, and it was a buttload. It was a buttload. So go check out the past video here where you can learn a little bit about that. And yeah, scary times if you're holding a big bag of USD, and there's a definite risk for the US dollar continuing to inflate as the Fed continues to print more money. So I think smart companies like this are kind of seeing this as an opportunity to diversify and protect some of their funds. So that is it for today. We've got a comment from someone by the name of Stuart McLeod. What new BCH stuff is Bitcoin.com working on? Well, Stuart, I can't reveal too much, but let it be known that Bitcoin.com is definitely still working on some Bitcoin Cash features, both in the wallet, on the website, and across some different platforms and services. We'll be making some more announcements about those in the coming weeks and months. Of course, you can always visit mint.bitcoin.com if you're interested in Bitcoin Cash. Go take it for a spin. It's an easy way to start minting SLP tokens on Bitcoin Cash. You can also pay dividends through it. Kind of a simple web wallet. Of course, you can also download the Bitcoin.com wallet over at wallet.bitcoin.com, where we support both BTC, BCH, SLP tokens, and all the stablecoins that currently are on Bitcoin Cash's SLP network. And definitely follow along, subscribe, and I'm sure you'll hear more announcements from Bitcoin.com regarding some of the new features that we're building, both across our platforms and services, as well as bespoke features for Bitcoin Cash. And that's it for today. Leave a comment below if you like, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.